Hey, what's up with it, guys, man? Nosley27 back with another video, and I ain't gonna lie, man. This topic might rub people the wrong way, given the fact that, like, you seen the thumbnail, people think, like, differently of him and what I think, but this is just my true sentiment because, like, I seen a lot of Trevor Lawrence hate, especially on, like, everywhere. If it ain't from Twitter, from probably the media, from every other, every other person that just talks about sports, like, it's just been like a whole bunch of like Trevor Lawrence hate, and some of it's justifiable and some of it's just unfair towards him. And I'm just here to tell you like how I feel about the situation. Now, one of the biggest things is why like people think Trevor Lawrence is probably overrated and stuff like that is given the fact that like he had a lot of hype coming out of college. People dubbed him as Peyton Manning 2.0, one of the best prospects to come out of the draft since Andrew Luck. People had high hopes for him, stuff like that, and he hasn't really hit that. He's played like a top 5 QB in spurts, but he hasn't done it for a full season yet. To which that's most people's biggest gripe about him, and I kind of get that, but at the same time, though, like you can't just. I don't like to pick and choose battles and kind of stuff like that. In my opinion, has been times where he's been an elite QB for him, like obviously in spurts, but like. Yeah, it's true. You have to play a full season of him being elite, but like it's really in there in him. He just haven't done it, given the fact that like he's making the right plays, or like I know he won't lose us the game, stuff like that. And whenever he does need him to take over, like 9 times out of 10, when he's healthy, he actually wins us the game, stuff like that. And look, however you feel about Trevor Lawrence, and especially in the second half of the season where he injured that Monday night game where it really went downhill for the Jacksonville Jaguars because him and Christian Kirk got injured that same game, stuff like that. That's where like all the hate comes from, given the fact that like after that, which I don't make injury excuses. Really, like if you play in the game, like people gonna think you're 100% regardless. So, and plus nobody's gonna remember you getting injured. So that's just the truth of that honestly. The truth be told, like he was a turnover machine like week 14 on, and shoot, he didn't even win the game like week 14 on either, given the fact that like he obviously was playing hurt. Again, it's not an excuse, it's just what happened, honestly. And plus, other factors came in, like the defense started to fail on for real like that, and just the offensive line was just that bad of an offensive line, especially since that our GM just didn't fix it at all, and wide receivers kept getting injured all year, and it was just that bad for him. But we ignore that, given the fact that like we actually paid them top dollar money for QBs, and everybody was pissed about that, given the fact that the people felt like we paid him too early, given the fact that he haven't played like a all-pro type of level yet. Like it got so bad to where like people actually started like bringing up the conversation of should QBs have a salary cap and stuff like that, which to me that is ridiculous because if you need a QB salary cap, then that means that no NFL team can actually build a roster that good and stuff like that. Also, recency bias does like hurt Trevor Lawrence too. Like I said, the second half of the season didn't go so well for him, but like to me, he deserved a contract because I watched enough games to where he actually deserved that contract. And boy, oh boy, bro, like man, this is where I got the most mad because this is ridiculous. They start comparing his stats to Daniel Jones of all people, bro. Daniel freaking Jones. And listen, man, my opinion on Daniel Jones is the fact that like he should have been like replaced like a long time ago. Dude's a better version of Blake Bortles, honestly, in my opinion. And he just didn't deserve the contract whenever they made that one miraculous run into the playoffs and won a playoff game. Like he wasn't even the reason why they even won most of these games. Like it was all mostly Saquon Barkley and him not turning the ball over 1 year in his career. And this is where I say Trevor Lawrence is underrated because stats don't really tell the full story of like what Trevor Lawrence has gone through this whole year and how he's for real playing and stuff like that. Because I watch Trevor Lawrence play, I think he elevates talent a lot more better than Daniel Jones has. Both of their offensive lines hasn't been that good for real since they both been starting in the NFL, and plus the wide receiver cores, even though Christian Kirk's the best receiver out of where wide receiver core they both had, stuff like that. It just hasn't been like, up to par where like everybody in the NFL for like that. But I've seen Trevor Lawrence actually like take whatever wide receiver core they had and actually help elevate them throughout his career. Like, shoot, these comparisons to Evan Ingram, given the fact that like, both of them had Evan Ingram in their careers, and yet Evan Ingram's played better with Trevor Lawrence than he did with the Giants. And people were criticizing Evan Ingram given the fact that like he had no hands with the Giants. And yet, the past 2 years that Evan Ingram being a Jaguar, he had some of the best seasons of his career. With him last year, almost breaking the franchise record for the most catches in a season for him. And look, the Calvin Ridley thing didn't go as great as we hoped, but still, Calvin Ridley had himself 1,000 yards last year after not playing for damn near 2 years. So that was a great thing for them too that happened. And look, and people don't want to like, obviously, offensive line definitely is the most important thing when it comes to QBs playing great, because both of them been injured since wherever the offensive line's been bad. And especially since, Daniel Jones basically tore his ACL from a bad offensive line. Also, Trevor Lawrence got hurt because his offensive line, especially the interior, was that bad. I mean, shoot, Luke Fortner was freaking great as the worst center in the league by PFF, and it was evident because I seen him play. Dude was just that bad last year. Before we got a new center, Mitch Morse. The point I'm making is the fact that like, yes, the QB stats matter, given the fact that like, it does set the bar of like how like good of a QB you are, like to like the casual eye and stuff like that. Because obviously not everybody gonna watch the games. Like, shoot, we in Jacksonville, man. Nobody watches Jacksonville games for it like that. But also, it just don't tell the full story of like how they actually played in the game. Because there's definitely been times before where like the QB put up great stats, but like in actuality, their team was basically blown out. And around the fourth quarter, they just stat pad and stuff like that. Just at that Prescott. With this stats being like not as good as guys like a CJ Stroud, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, stuff like that, and him getting that big contract to where he basically getting paid around the same amount per year as Joe Burrow, like it's gonna leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, given the fact that like he got a big contract and people don't think he actually proved himself to be in that top 8 category according to the best QBs in the league. And look, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a perfect QB. Like, yeah, he definitely has a problem, especially when it comes to fumbles. Like, dude fumbles the ball at a very alarming rate to where, like, he just gotta stop doing that for real like that. And yeah, like, Trevor Lawrence, once a game, has, like, one of those weird interceptions where he just throws the ball and just don't know what he's doing for some reason. Yeah, he does have that, but, like, I watched him long enough to know that like he's probably the best QB. He's definitely the best QB that Jacksonville ever had. He's definitely proved to be one of the best QBs in the league in my opinion. But shoot, man, with me saying all that though, like he definitely gonna have to like have an MVP caliber season, because everybody's doubting him. Everybody's saying he's the most overrated QB in the league, even though I think he's the most underrated QB in the league in my opinion. He's gotta have that elite season that people were wondering, hoping for him to have. And him being year 4. But I have a lot of faith in him, not just because he's my QB, but I know that he knows that he's a great QB and he has that top 5 potential in him. He's gonna prove that not only he's the best QB in the AFC South, but he should be in the consensus top 10, if not top 5 QB in the league. That he should never be doubted like this ever again. And that's just how I feel about that. But I do appreciate y'all watching the video, man. It does mean a lot for y'all to like stick around to the end. But hey, man, how do you feel about Trevor Lawrence? You think he's overrated? You think he's underrated? Where do you rank him when it comes to like top QBs in the league? Just let me know how y'all feel about him. But that's it for me, man. If y'all like the video, man, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video for more videos like this. And y'all have a great day.